Whoa, Canada is getting in on the UFO game. This is awesome. Canada is opening its own UFO study program. A few weeks ago, I shared with you a survey, an annual survey that Canada does on UFOs, and they've been doing it for decades. It's really cool. It's one of the few countries that are doing stuff like this. And they had some really interesting details in there. But they are getting more serious about it now. They are actually launching their own ATIP, their own UAP task force, their own Arrow. This is amazing news. So let's talk about it. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. Get in here. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like. Please subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Please join me on social media. There are Facebook and Twitter links below. I'd love to see you there. And please share this video on social media when you get a chance. That'd be great. And yeah, comment below as I'm going through the story. Are you Canadian? Let me know. Document reveals first known Canadian UFO study in nearly 30 years now underway. The Canadian government's top scientist has launched a study into unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAP, a term that is replacing UFO in unidentified flying object in official circles. Well, officially, but many people are still calling it UFOs. Known as the Sky Canada Project, the study, being conducted by the Office of the Chief Science Advisor of Canada, is the first known official Canadian UFO research effort in nearly 30 years. According to a February 2023 PowerPoint presentation, and I will share that with you in a moment, the project plans to collect information this winter and spring before preparing an internal draft report in the fall and a final public report in the winter or spring of 2024. So it says final public. Does that mean that it has a expiration date? This is not going to be an ongoing concern like Arrow. This is going to be more like the UAP task force. Let's see. Who is compiling and analyzing UAP observations made by Canadians? Well, you know, it's referencing the actual presentation. So let's just jump to the presentation. Let's see. Definition and objectives. UAP, well, we know that stands for Sky Canada, to inquire how UAP reporting is managed in Canada and recommended improvements if necessary. Objectives. Identify the key Canadian players and how they deal with UAP observations. Compare the Canadian approach with some G7 countries' systems. Prepare for potential collaboration with current U.S. initiatives on UAPs. And of course, it was U.S. jets, fighter jets, that took down the object in Canada. We still don't know what that object was, whether it was a hobby balloon or a flying saucer or something else entirely different. Before I go on, I did just want to touch briefly on the idea that it's Sky Canada. Canada has wide coasts, so why aren't they including the water? The UFOs come and go from the water all the time. So why, limit it to the sky? I'm wondering if that means something, because the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, Arrow, very specifically is studying all domains. So why limit it to the sky? I'm interested in that, if that is significant in any way. Clarifications. Sky Canada is not meant to access and collect first-hand data like photos, minutes, etc. Interesting. It doesn't access first-hand data. What the hell? It is not meant to transform the Office of the Chief Science Advisor of Canada as the main point of contact. Okay. It is not meant to prove or deny the existence of extraterrestrial life or extraterrestrial visitors. Okay, so what's it for? Well, here it says motivation. Support citizen science. Okay. Collect observations to document rare natural phenomena. Respond to an official request. Mr. Larry McGuire, Member of Parliament, publicly asked the Chief Science Advisor in 2022 to undertake a comprehensive study on UAPs in Canada. Okay, so this is so this new office might be a direct response to Mr. Larry Maguire. So that is interesting. So there is at least one member of Parliament who is pro. I don't know if disclosure is the word, but at least pro study. So that is interesting. More transparency, give access to collected information to prevent conspiracy theories. And remember, conspiracy theory is a term cooked up by the CIA to discredit anyone talking about conspiracies involving the JFK assassination. And now we know from those leaked documents that it is very likely the CIA had a hand in that. So anytime you see conspiracy theory, keep that in mind. It is a disinformation word cooked up by an agency that may have had something to do with what they were trying to discredit. Let's see. National security support surveillance activities within Canadian territory to prevent undetected intrusions. Prepare for collaboration, proactively review and describe the Canadian approach to discuss best practices with the U.S. In the media recently, December 2017, it talks about the New York Times, the 3 videos. Let's see what it says about Larry Maguire. Ask questions about UAPs in the House of Commons and generates media attention. Okay, I'm not familiar with what is going on in the UFO or UAP space in Canada. So that's interesting. It sounds like Larry Maguire has been kind of rocking the boat over there a little bit. So good for you, Larry. In February 2024, 4 unauthorized objects shut down by NORAD Air Forces. I think that means it shot down. You would hope that Canadians would have better spelling. Recent U.S. initiatives. Of course, I say that not to disparage Canada. The U.S. official things sometimes have typos too. Recent U.S. initiatives, creation in 2022 of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office to synchronize efforts across U.S. federal departments to detect and identify objects of interest. Okay, we all know that. NASA, there is a NASA UAP study as well. I am not real excited about that. There's the Galileo project at Harvard. I'm a little bit more excited about that. Although Avi Loeb is more of a traditionalist and kind of a mainstream UFO, nuts and bolts kind of guy. So, but he's a real sharp guy, and he is actually looking at this seriously, outside of government involvement. Hopefully, we'll see how that goes. And of course, there is the new Biden-created joint program office. I don't know if it has an official name yet, or even if it's going to go forward, but there is that proposed thing. So how can you help? Share your organization's experience, propose ideas, offer your expertise, basic information needed, blah, blah, blah. So, so it's not as robust a program as Arrow. It seems fairly minimal, actually, but it's a first step. It is. So it looks like there is progress going on in Canada. This reminds me of Lou Elizondo in his second gear. He says things were shifting into the second gear, and he had left TTSA possibly to accomplish the second gear. And a big part of his effort in the second gear seems geared toward international efforts. So there is a push to get NATO involved in this, and it looks like there is a resolution going forward to NATO to start their own UFO UAP study program. So I think that's fascinating. I hope that happens. That'd be awesome. Do I trust NATO more than I do the U.S.? Not really, honestly. Maybe less. But it's something. It's something that shows there's interest. And who knows, maybe something will get done if we get enough people involved, and if the public pushes them hard enough, and if the media pushes them hard enough, maybe something will actually happen. And now we have Canada coming forward with their own program. So maybe one of these guys, if we throw enough darts at the board, maybe one of them will get close to hitting it. Who knows, right? I don't have any particular faith in any one of these programs, but There's a bunch of them now. There's a bunch of them. So hopefully something will happen. If not, there's always the grassroots movement, the human involvement in this. We don't need government to accomplish disclosure. We really don't. Government is not necessary. None of these programs are necessary. CE5, baby. Stephen Greer. I'm not a big fan of Stephen Greer, but I am a big fan of the idea of human initiated contact with the phenomenon. However, do it safely. How do you do it safely? Well, it helps if you have somebody that has their third eye open. This is where it gets woo-woo. I'm sorry to say, but this whole thing has a lot of woo-woo in it. It really does. So there's a big consciousness connection with UFOs and UAP. And, if you're not comfortable with that, I understand. It is weird. It's totally weird, but it's there. A lot of these events are co-created in some way, whether consciously or unconsciously. I know that my own experience was definitely interacting with my consciousness, and that is the case for many people. So just be aware of that. It is consciousness based, or it touches upon consciousness, I should say. And there's a lot of more metaphysical and mystical aspects to all of this. So it helps if you have somebody that is gifted in those ways. If they can see things that other people can't, if they can manage energies that other people can't even sense, or let alone manage, it really helps. So I think that just regular citizens getting out there and connecting with the phenomenon themselves in a grassroots movement, but being safe and being protected and have people there that can sense what is going on and make sure that you're only interacting with positive entities and energies. But yeah, if we can do that, we don't need the government. We can just say, hey, phenomenon, we're here. We want a peaceful, positive interaction. And we want to start a conversation going and a relationship going with the phenomenon. And hopefully evolve, humanity. And maybe evolve, the whole thing. So, that's my take on it. Anyway, I'm really happy that Canada has their own UFO program. That's a great first step. They already had their annual UFO survey, which I've talked about before, was really awesome. And most countries don't have that. So, kudos to Canada. That's great. So let's keep throwing darts at the board. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Smash the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Please join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. I would love to see you there. And until next time, this is Jack with Cosmic Road signing out.